Hey, what's up, Bloomfield? Today we're going to be getting ready to look at our practice test and getting ready for the upcoming test to make sure that you are ready. All right, for problem number 1, we're just simplifying expressions, so we know we need to distribute here. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. 4 times negative 2x gives me negative 8x. 5x times 6 gives me a positive 30x. And 5x times 7x. Well, 5 times 7 is 35. And don't forget, x times x, so that's 2 x's, so that makes x squared. So the only things that look alike here are the negative 8 and the positive 30. Let's put our x squared terms in front. So I got a positive 35x squared. Negative 8 and positive 30 makes a positive 22x, and I have a positive 8. So that would be the answer, and that's all you can do because there are no like terms. There is no equal sign, so we are not solving. Okay, for problem 3, once again, distribute v times 4v. So there are 2 v's, and that makes v squared. V times 8 would make a positive 8v. 3 times 3v would make a positive 9v. And 3 times negative 6 would make a negative 18. Well, the only things here that are like terms, I got a v and a v, so I can put those together. So everything else would just drop down. So 4v squared, 8 and 9 makes 17 for v, minus 18. Once again, no equal sign, so we're not solving. All we're doing is simplifying. Okay, I know for 5, once again, let's go ahead and think distribute first. So over here, 11v. So this side would be 11v plus 86. 11 times v would give me 11v. And 11 times 10 would give me 110. So now we have a situation where we are solving. Well, when we're solving, we know we want to get letters on one side of the equal sign and numbers on the other. So we got to move things around, right? So I want to move this 11v over here to this other side. So in order to move it from here, we would have to subtract, right? Well, what would that do? Well, that would tell me that 11v minus 11v becomes 0. And then bring down the 86. And then this would also give me 0, bring down the 110. Well, 86 does not equal 110. So there's no v's. The v's are gone, so don't make that mistake and keep the v's. So 86, well, we know 86 does not equal 110. So since this is not a true statement, right? That's not a true statement. And there's no v's, the answer here would be no solution, because there is nothing that you could put in place of v and ever make 86 equal 110. There's no way to make these two sides equal. So therefore, the answer is no solution. Okay, let's look at 9 here. So 9, I know, well, the 11's not doing anything, so don't add the 11 plus 3. The 3 is tied to this parenthesis. So the 11 just comes down for the ride. And now we're distributing the 3. So 3 times negative 6x would make negative 18x. And 3 times negative 10 would make negative 30. And over here, that would be negative 7x. And negative 7 times negative 2 would make positive 14. Okay, once we get to this point, let's evaluate just one side. So just on this left side, are there any things that are like terms? Anything that looks similar? Well, we got an 11 and a negative 30. We're not moving them because they are on the same side. So don't move them across the equal sign. 11 minus 30 is just what? Well, 11 minus 30 makes negative 19. And then the negative 18x is still there. And then I got equal negative 7x plus 14. Okay. Now we want to start, well, I don't have any like terms on either side. So now we can move things around. Well, let's move our x's together. So we want to get them on the same side, so I have to move across the equal sign. So when we move, we have to do the opposite in order to cancel out, right? So it's a minus, we do plus. And so that leaves me negative 19. Negative 18 plus 7 would make negative 11x. equals 14. And we still want to move across, right? So I want to move my negative 19 and move it over there. So we have to add 19 to both sides, and that would give me negative 11x equals 33. So when you divide by negative 11, divide by negative 11, that would tell me that x is equal to negative 3. And that would be our answer there. Okay? Now, let's say I got my answer and I didn't know exactly if it was right. So I'm not 100% certain. So we have our answer of x equals negative 3. And I want to check and see, is that the right answer? Okay, did I do it correctly? I don't need anybody else to come tell me. I can check it myself. Why? Because we're just going to plug in. Okay, so we just want to go ahead and plug in our value and check and see, did we do it right? So 11, 3, I got negative 6 times negative 3 minus 10, and that's got to equal negative 7 times negative 3 minus 2. Well, what is negative 6 times negative 3 would be positive 18. That's then we're subtracting 10 from that and multiplying by 3 and adding 11. Well, 18 minus 10 is 8. Times 3 and then adding 11. 3 times 8 is 24 and then add 11. 11 plus 24 is 35. Well, you see how I only worked one side at a time. So I want to get and see, does 35 equal this side? Well, negative 3 and negative 2 makes negative 5. And I'm multiplying that by negative 7. Negative 7 times negative 5 is positive 35. So yes, the left side does equal the right side. So yes, this is our correct answer. So you can check it yourself by, take that extra couple seconds that it takes to double check your answers. Okay, I know that a lot of you guys don't like fractions. Well, normally, so we could distribute this, and let's see, maybe that's a good way to approach it, is actually distribute this. So we got 71 over 2 equals, well, if I distribute, I know what's on the bottom is a 1, so negative 3 times 5 would make negative 15 over 2n, and negative 3 times negative 7 would make a positive 21 over 2. Well, is there a way to get rid of these crappy denominators or these 2's out of the bottom, right? Is there a way to do that? Absolutely. So that means I can, because we know that if this is divide, what's the opposite of divide is multiply. So if I multiplied every numerator by 2, what would happen? Well, that would cancel, and I would just get 71 equals, the 2 would cancel, negative 15n. The 2 would cancel and give me plus 21. So now I got a nice easy problem, a problem that all of you have done. So we could easily then subtract our 21 over, and I got negative 15n equals, that would be then 50, and divide by negative 15. And what is 50 divided by 15? Well, I can't do that, but I can simplify it. Divide both of them by 5, right? So that would make then 10 over 2. So my answer would be n equals negative 10 over 2. So here I can look at another option, another way of doing it is, instead of distributing first, I can find a way just to get rid of the denominators from the very beginning that are in the multiply stage. So if I got an 8 and a 2, so our least common multiple, or something that would get rid of an 8 and a 2, would be 8, right? So if I multiplied both sides by 8 here, and I'm not worried about what's inside the parentheses right now, okay? So that would give me then negative 301, because the 8's would cancel. And what would we, so we're technically doing 8 over 2 times negative 7. All right, 8 over 2, so that's 4 times negative 7. Right, so I got negative 301 equals negative 28 times negative 7 over 2n plus 2. Okay, so let's see where that takes me. Well, I got negative 301 equals, if I distribute that, 28 times 7. So 28 times 7 would be 196. So I'd have 196 over 2n. And then this would be minus 56, because negative 28 times 2. Okay, well, I still got a crappy 2 in the denominator. I don't like the 2 in the denominator there either. So now what do I got to do? I want to get rid of that, so I have to do what? Multiply by 2. So let's multiply everything by 2 again. So that would give me negative 602 equals, these 2's would cancel and give me 196n minus, and that would give me 102. 112. So that would give me a minus 112. So now if I add 112 to both sides, I get what? 196n equals, this would be, so that would give me 490, and then divide by 196. And then we just got to go through the process of simplifying it. Okay, we know we're treating inequalities exactly the same way that we do anything else. So negative 3 times negative 4 would give me negative 12. Negative 3 times negative 4a would give me positive 12a, and that's less than 26 minus 7a. So we still want to go about the process of moving our a's together. So I want to move this negative 7, get over here with our other a. So I'd have to add 7a to both sides. Right, that way it's across the equal sign. That would give me 19a and negative 12 less than 26. So we want to get our numbers together away from our letters. So let's move the negative 12 over there by adding 12 to both sides. And that would give me positive 19a less than 38. Divide both sides by 19. And I get a is less than 2. So that's got to be, because it's no line underneath, it's open circle at 2 and going less than, and that's all she wrote. All right, let's look at one just slightly harder, but really not any harder. So we know over here I got 8m minus 2 greater than, I have to distribute the negative. That's the only part that makes it a little bit more complicated. Was I have a negative 1, and negative times a negative makes a positive 7m minus 1. Now, don't, right? This is a negative 1, and that's a negative 1. They are both on the same side. So don't try to add 1, and you'll mess up. This then becomes, on this side, becomes a 7m and a negative 2. So I got 8m minus 2 greater than that, right? So now if I add 2 and add 2, well, what the heck happens? I got 8m is greater than 7m. Well, that doesn't do me any good. So we want to get our m's together, right? So let's get that over there. So we got to subtract 7m, subtract 7m, and that tells me that I have m is greater than or greater than 0, because there is nothing here, correct? So that is an answer. So I can say, well, that's 0, close open circle at 0, and we got to go greater than 0. So open circle at 0 and greater than 0, and we are done. All right, guys, hope this helped a lot, and good luck on the test. It will be on either Thursday or Friday, depending on which class period you have. All right, good luck.